So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Harif Zoom event. And I hope everyone's enjoying the summer and enjoying the good weather. Um, Welcome to Harif. Harif is, as most of you know, the UK Association of Jews from the Middle East and North Africa. And our mission is to raise awareness of the history, the culture, and the heritage of Jews from this part of the world. We have a website, www.harif.org, to get information about our events. You need to subscribe to our mailing list and you will receive all the information. And what's more, it's all free. We've got a sister website which keeps you up to date with the news. It's called Point of No Return. And the easiest way to get to it is to click on news on the Harif website. And that is updated every day, and you can subscribe to that as well. This session actually is being recorded, and you'll be able to find the recording on the Harif YouTube channel. Again, access is through the Harif website. There will be an opportunity to ask our guest questions or make comments. Please do write them in the chat at the bottom of your screen. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Ayelet Tsabari, uh, who will be talking about her new book, Songs for the Brokenhearted, which I heartily recommend. It's actually the second time we have met online, although we did meet in person at Jewish Book.
That's right.
We did do a Zoom event back in January 2021, and that was a three-way conversation between myself, Ayelet, and Gila Green, who's
That's
also
right.
of Yemeni background. But Songs for the Brokenhearted is actually Ayelet's first novel. And I'd like to start by asking you, Ayelet, what made you write it?
Oh wow. Yeah, so I dramatically say sometimes that it's a book I felt like I just had to write. I was born to write. Um, I I think of it as like, my great Yemeni novel, my great Yemeni Jewish novel, like the book that I did not have growing up, the book that I wished I had growing up. I just really wanted, I think from the moment that I started writing in English and from the moment that I realized that actually you can write about Yemeni characters, because that took some time, you know what I mean? Kind of figuring out, wait a second, just because you don't see it, that doesn't mean it can't be. Um, I really wanted a book that would celebrate my community and, the women in particular, because we don't have that, it was just like, was not something I've ever seen growing up and still really, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was that kind of big ambition to capture some of the spirit of my community and bring it to the page. Uh, and more specifically, and like that, this story and these characters, I would say that they kind of introduce themselves to me, the characters. Um, I I don't want to take all the credit. They just kind of came to me and wanted their stories told.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and maybe we can talk about, like, I feel like
Yes.
the rest of it we can come
Yeah, of
to as
course,
we speak.
as we
Um,
speak. So I should
yeah.
mention that you've already written a couple of books, both of which um, I have read.
Oh,
The Art of Leaving and The Best Place on Earth.
yeah.
Um, and both of which are really beautifully written and very
Thank
compelling.
you.
And I
Thank
found
you.
Songs for the Brokenhearted equally compelling. It was really difficult to put down. I just felt
Thank you.
I had to get to the back of the end of it. It was just,
Mm,
you do create an atmosphere and an interest, which I found very, very attractive and very engaging. And
yeah. Thank
your
you.
previous books actually have received several awards and commendations, literary awards. Um, and we hope that you will, have the same for Songs for the Brokenhearted. But anyway, let's talk about the story. As you say, um, you bring characters from the Yemeni community to the fore.
Yeah.
And so the book is set in two timelines, really, isn't it?
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
the 1950s, when 50,000 Yemeni Jews arrived in Israel,
Hmm.
and in the Oslo years of the mid 1990s.
That's right. That's
Let's
right.
go back to the 1950s because the main character, the main sort of story in your book, it is a particular relationship between Saida and Yaqub, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's also about the relationship between the dead Saida and her daughter, Zohara.
Hmm. That's right.
So, can you just set the scene?
So yeah, so the storyline, the earlier storyline is like right after Israel was founded, and migrants from everywhere really arrived in Israel, but specifically we're talking about the largest Yemeni migration, which was called on the wings of the eagles, or as some people call it mistakenly, the magic carpet. Um, yeah, that was a story that it's a love story. There's two, I would say, major love stories without giving too many spoilers because I am a romantic. I
Yeah.
love stories, and I wanted that in there as well. But it's a love story that cannot be, and it's a love story that I struggled to write because of what I knew of Yemeni cultures and traditions. Like, and I think Zohara, my main character, my protagonist, is kind of mirroring some of my own prejudgments about that generation and of Yemeni, women. This is something that I think I took from my own kind of life, and lent it to Zohara as a character. The way she cannot really imagine, and maybe also, by the way, I should say that I think most of us are having a hard time imagining our parents as people who
Yeah.
are, capable of that kind of amorous feelings and emotions and affairs and so on. So that's just kind of a layer of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the second timeline, which is Zohara, is the main protagonist in that timeline, which takes place in the 90s. Um, if we're thinking about the history of the region, I feel like these are two really major spots, major plot points in the history
Mhm.
of Israel. The moment, the founding of Israel, and then Oslo, which, yeah, it's interesting that I've written that obviously before October 7, and now it feels like such a a timeline that brought us to where we are today. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of took the answer in many other directions, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's that, and I'll say a little bit more in
Yeah.
a form of scene setting. Is that in the 90s, Zohara is returning to Israel from New York, where she
Yeah.
is a PhD student at NYU, And she's coming back because of her mom's death, because of Saida's death. So the story really begins with Saida's death.
Right.
And we see her through recollections. We see her in the 50s parts, and we see her through Saida's eyes, through Yaqub's eyes, and through Yoni, who is the grandson's
Right.
eyes.
Well, we'll come to him in a minute, but can you talk about the relationship between Saida and her daughter Zohara? I mean, it's not a close one, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
can you read a short
sure.
passage to illustrate that, please?
Yeah, this is from the beginning of fairly early in the book. Um, I'll just start reading. We weren't close, my mother and I. A daddy's girl, she called me in a caustic, accusatory tone, as though she had nothing to do with how distant we were, as though she didn't make me feel like I could never live up to my missing brother, hadn't sent me away the first chance she had. She often told me her pregnancy with me was her most difficult one, as if that, too, was my fault. Everything hurt, she announced, throwing her arms up with an exaggerated dramatic flair. Her feet, swollen beyond recognition, no longer fit into her slippers. Eating even the smallest bite gave her violent reflux that sent her retching. Breathing was strenuous. My feet kept kicking and pressing on her diaphragm. At night, she'd be woken up from indigestion, from back spasms, from leg cramps, from bad dreams. She knew I had to be a girl. Boys were good to their mothers, aiming to please. Only a girl would put her mother through such misery, especially one born a decade after her sister, when my mother, dispirited and drained after years of trying in vain, thought she couldn't have another. Especially when my mother wanted, more than anything, a boy, a male heir to replace the one she had lost. She labored at home for 2 days before her friend Buria took her to the hospital, where she gave birth without fuss. In Yemen, women didn't cry and yell like they do here, where the whole world hears you. She clucked her tongue in disapproval. Giving birth was a private business. If you had to yell, you yelled quietly. I was the only one of her 3 children to be born in a hospital. The only one, she claimed, who didn't like the taste of her milk, who flailed and threshed when being held, needing space. And every time I sang to you, you cried, she said, raising her eyebrows as if, of all my transgressions, this was the most offensive of all. My mother was a beautiful singer, blessed with one of these rare voices that give people chills. Silky, deep, and lucid, it was the voice of a bigger woman. With her exceptional range and control, she could easily have been a professional had she chosen to, like her sister, Shuli. But my mother wasn't interested in a music career. She was too shy to perform, or maybe it was the God thing. Judaism regarded women's voices as obscene, immodest. The sound of women singing could lead men to have impure thoughts. Although my mother's religious observance was not of the strict, uncompromising kind. We, the Yemenis, she used to say, our religion is the best. It's easygoing, not fanatic. I'll stop here.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what an introduction to the relationship between Saida and Zohara. Obviously, Zohara got off on the wrong footing
Yeah.
with Saida. But it's interesting that the book brings Zohara closer to Saida in death. Uh,
Yeah.
so, because Zohara discovers Saida's secret romantic relationship with Yaqub. So, how does she do that exactly? How does she discover her mother's secret?
So I don't want to give too much away,
No.
but one of the ways, I think the major way, the important way, is that she finds recordings of her mother singing. And that's what brings the women's songs, the Yemeni women's songs, to into the book. It's a major part of the book, I would say. I kind of saw it as a key when I realized this was, that the songs had to play a major part in the book. It felt like it just brought everything together. So the Yemeni women's songs, it was a tradition of the women, which was very separate than the men's songs, because the men's songs were in Hebrew. They were devotional in nature. They were about Zion, about return, about, if any of you have ever heard of Shabazi, the famous, Jewish Yemeni poet, 16th century poet, um, that's the kind of songs the men sang. And the women's songs were about their lives. They were sung in Arabic, and they were about their domestic lives. They were about love and heartache and betrayal and being second wife, or being jealous of the second wife, or it was really just about their everyday. And
Yeah.
it was a treasure, really, and it was an unwritten treasure,
Right.
because it was the women were illiterate.
Yeah.
So Zohara basically finds that amazing treasure of her mom's songs singing on cassette tapes, and this is how she discovers that there was, that her mother was actually capable of all these amorous feelings. But again, I don't want to give too much away,
No,
but
no.
yeah,
Yeah. That's right. Well, we will
that's
hear
the key.
one of the songs a bit later. You will very kindly
Yeah.
play us one of the songs, but
Hmm.
I just wanted to say that I suppose Zohara had a very a kind of limited view of her mother. Her mother was a cleaning lady, wasn't she?
Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
say somewhere that this, and so many of these Yemeni women were cleaning ladies.
That's right.
They,
That's right.
their symbol was the bucket and the mop.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, cleaning is a major theme actually in the book. And that was also something that was really important to me, because I used to say that I'm a third generation house cleaner, but then I realized no, I'm fourth. I'm fourth generation house cleaner, because my great grandmother arrived in Ottoman Palestine. It's a long story and it's complicated. It's in my memoir, but my
Right.
great grandmother arrived before my grandmother. Let's just say
Okay.
that.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
grandmother arrived in pre-state, but
Yeah.
my great grandmother arrived in the beginning of the century,
Right.
and she worked as a cleaner. And then when my grandmother arrived, she worked as a cleaner, and my mom. Um, and then I did too. When I first, as a young woman, I worked in cleaning.
Mm.
And I just felt like it was because it was such a position that was associated with Yemeni women, so much so that the word Yemeni in its female form was synonymous to a
Mm.
cleaner. People said they had a Yemeni,
Yeah.
I have a Yemeni cleaning
Yeah.
in my house. So um, it felt like to really capture the experience of what it is to be a Jewish Yemeni woman, that had to be in there. But then also, I had to think about what role does cleaning play in our lives, and what role it played in their lives. There's a line in there where Saida says, "Cleanliness is the diamonds of the poor."
Yeah.
When you have no money, having a clean, pristine home was how you make your house beautiful. But also, it also felt like, because they were so dehumanized, it was almost a way of humanizing themselves. Like that's what they were known for. There were so many layers to this, and of course, cleaning is a way to address trauma.
Yeah.
I actually just I published an essay in the New York Times in um, a few months ago. I don't remember when, about this because and I talk about cleaning and all the things that it does and my history of cleaning. And also how after October 7, I volunteered to clean in the kibbutzim that were, um, um, uh, you know, were invaded by Hamas,
Right.
and kind of tied all of this together into, into an essay. If
Gosh.
you,
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
maybe if I'll find it, I'll send you the link
Yeah.
so you
Send
can
me the
take
link
it.
because that
Hmm.
sounds absolutely fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah. So so there's obviously a lot more to the mother Saida than just the bucket and the mop. And Zohara discovers this whole other side to her. But can we talk about the character of Yoni,
yeah.
who is the grandson and
Hmm.
has as close a relationship to Saida as Zohara has a distant one?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Yoni is one of those examples of a character that just showed up. Like I did not plan on including him in this book. In fact, I kind of resisted it too. I was thinking to myself, no, I'm trying to write about women, and like I don't feel like I want to have a maybe he should be a girl, but of course that didn't work. It never works because he's not a girl, he was a boy. But really, he just kind of made himself known. And I think the role that Yoni was playing, there's a few things that sometimes in writing, it's like you do something and only then you can understand what it is you're doing. And with Yoni, I understood a few things. First of all, he was there to show us a side of Saida that Zohara couldn't see, like because sometimes grandparents have very different relationships with their grandchildren, right? And he's also, very much like the son she had lost that went missing. He's like, he does something that neither of her girls could, fill a hole that neither of the girls
Right.
could.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing about Yoni, though, too, is that I was really interested in how young men um, during Oslo, but also just in the world, can be radicalized. Men who are good, men with good intentions, men with good hearts,
Mm.
uh, and still with the turbulent um, hormonal
Mm.
teenage years, and with the grief of losing his grandmother, he finds himself being embroiled in scenes that are unfortunate and becoming radicalized. So that was something that I wanted to explore. And during Oslo, as we know, there have been, um, obviously, I mean, Rabin ended up being assassinated.
Right.
So yeah, it was a time where we saw a radicalization that I don't think we've ever seen to that extent.
Right.
Um, so it felt like it was a good opportunity to sort of delve into that
Right.
through
And
Yoni.
he becomes religious, doesn't he?
Yeah,
And he starts hanging out with sort of right-wing anti-Oslo
yeah,
protesters.
that's
And
right. That's right.
um, and and um, and of course the assassin was a Yemeni.
That's
I'm
right.
not sure if it's right to remind people that of
Well,
that.
no, it is actually that I think
Yeah,
one of the reasons why I was
yeah,
interested in that,
yeah.
and like, um, and of course you can't like, it's you can't, fault an entire community on the fact that one of their own committed a horrible crime. But I also know that some because he wore a kippah, he was like uh he was religious, but not like Haredi, and
Mm,
I know people from that sect who also said afterwards that they felt weird, that they felt like when they walked in the streets, they felt people judge them. So it
Mm.
was, like
Yeah. Sort of judged by association, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Hmm.
And I wanted to ask you about oh gosh, there's lots to ask you about, but about Zahara. Zahara is sort of, there seems to be a tension between um, her Yemeni roots and her sort of Ashkenazification, if you like.
Hmm.
She uses that term in Hebrew, is it mitashke,
Mishtaknezet. Mishtaknezet.
that's
Can.
right.
Can.
Yeah. So
Mishtaknezet.
she
Hmm.
she goes to this elite school for gifted
Yeah.
children, Schneider, uh,
Hmm.
but but she feels that it's drawn her away from her family and her community, and
Hmm.
yet the state might well argue, well, look, we are giving this girl the best chance to
Yeah.
fulfill her potential in life. What's she on about?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and I think that people have different experiences. I've interviewed women that
yeah,
have gone to similar schools. Schneider is a made-up school, but
yeah,
obviously I drew inspiration from real institutes. And um, yeah, and it was a difficult experience for many of them. In retrospect, some of them had a good time when they were there, but it took a few years to kind of look back and realize what it did,
right,
and the distance that it created between them and their families, and the shame that it made them feel toward their families, because they were educated, re-educated, to believe that there is a certain way to be that was better. So yeah, I know. I'm well aware that in a sense, there's almost like you can argue that the intentions were good, but
yeah,
of course, the best way to do it would have been to bring a really great education to those neighborhoods
right,
rather than
right.
cherry pick
Yeah,
some and drop them, integrate them with in a place that is not natural to them, away from their families. Yeah, there's a tragedy there for sure. And yeah, and again, I've that this is based on research and on women that have shared their stories with me.
right. Interesting. And when
Yeah.
when Zahara goes to New York to do her PhD, what happens to her then? Does it accentuate her feeling that she was always an outsider in Israel,
To
or
me, it feels
how did
like it's
it
just
work?
yet another step in, like, her distancing herself from her roots.
Mhm.
It's like she's going so far, but it starts with Schneider. It's what allows her to kind of move to New York eventually.
Right.
But it's also like what you're saying, right? It's like she never belonged anyway, right? Like, so it's both those things.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, the book is very much about this search for belonging, and it's
Yeah,
something that you've already explored, I think,
yeah,
in your previous book, the
yeah.
art of
That's right.
living, where
That's right.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's an autobiographical book, isn't it, about your own
Hmm.
travels
Hmm.
and your search for belonging, and you spend time in India and in Canada. Um,
Hmm.
but you come back, you come
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the question is, does one ever belong anywhere? And is there such thing as home?
Mm.
Can you come back to your home? I wondered if you could read that passage about
That, yeah,
returning, returning to
yeah.
your home.
I'm glad you asked me to read this. I don't think anyone has ever asked me to read it. I never read it out loud. Um, there were people I knew who chose to never return. Evelyn's father, for example, never set foot in the Philippines again. He was looking forward, not back. Or that guy I met at a party in Brooklyn once, Ilan, who had been out of Israel for a decade. He told me he didn't like Israel. He, politically, temperamentally, he never felt at home. He couldn't stand the heat. He was estranged from his family. I was both fascinated by and suspicious of him. How can one sever ties so radically, have such little attachment to where they are from? And then I thought of those who could never return. I remember Yasmin telling me about her family in New York who fled Jaffa in 1948 while her father's family stayed behind. They left behind their home, their books, their furniture, believing they'd be back one day. Thinking about that made my own musings feel foolish, privileged. And there was my mom. For her, Israel was the true homeland. Still, she could never return to where she came from. With their Israeli passports, the Yemeni Jews were not even permitted to visit. I asked her once if she wished she could. I'd love to see it, she said, but the community was all gone. Everyone had left. Maybe Evelyn's father and Ilan were on to something. Maybe leaving and never returning, never looking back, was better. Or maybe it was best never to have left. Stay close to your family, your community, your source. In New York, I sometimes imagine the version of me who'd stayed, the parallel life she might have led. I thought that if I returned, I could catch up to her. Like two transparencies, one placed over the other, I could slide into the skin of the ghost Zohara who stayed. Everything restored, the unlived life resurrected.
Oh, that was beautiful. Well, maybe the
Thank
answer
you.
is to have the best of both worlds, to feel at home in two places at once, perhaps.
Yeah, I remember saying that once to my brother, and he immediately like shot it down. I'm talking like back in my early 30s. He's like, really? Or maybe it's like, having two homes is more like none at all.
Yeah,
Um, and I appreciate, his honesty.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know
mm,
if it's possible. I don't know if it's
yeah,
really,
yeah.
yeah.
Ah, interesting. But
Hmm.
I think let's go back to this theme of love because obviously the
Yeah,
book is about love, and
yeah,
it's not just the romantic relationship between Saida, who, by the way, is married with a child, and so her love affair is prohibited. Um,
yeah,
it would be an adulterous relationship with
yeah.
Yaqub. So not just that, but Zahara is looking for love, isn't she?
That's right. That's
And
right.
perhaps that love is you don't have to travel thousands of miles to find it. Perhaps it's
Hmm.
next door.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
without
Again, no
giving anything
spoilers.
away, no spoilers, no spoilers. So coming back to the love songs, I wonder if you could share with us one
Yes.
of these amazing love songs. I think
Hmm.
this is
Yeah, I'm excited. Let me just find it
yeah.
to make sure that I got it right. Um, so this song actually, I'm really excited about it because what happened with it is that when I was looking for songs, to create playlists and whatnot, I was I was thinking of a song that is mentioned in the first chapter, that is a Yaqub chapter,
Yeah.
in the immigrant camp in Rosh Ha'ayin in 1950. And it says the first time he heard her sing, he was walking from the camp to his usual spot by the Yalkon River. His voice grew louder, her voice grew louder, drowning the sound of the water. Galbi malan yauma, alaman ashki, she sang. My heart is full, mother, who will I tell? So I went and I looked for it, and I came across this amazing recording because it's not, and I've never played it before. It's not like there's many um performances of Yemeni singers singing some of the women's songs. Beautiful, and I have a playlist. It's available on my website and on Random House website. If you look the name of the book, and just write book club kit, it will have a playlist, or on Spotify, songs for Brokenhearted.
Okay.
But this one is this one is special because you can hear it's just like a field recording, and it's this particular song. So okay, now I'm gonna play it for you.
So I think you have to share screen. Yes, here we go.
قلبي ملا.
Sorry, it's thinking. Of course, it's thinking.
Of course.
يما على ما نشكي قلبي ملان يما على ما نشكي واشكي على رب اللي خلقني واشكي على رب اللي خلقني بنت البنات في السيلة لقاني بنت البنات في السيلة لقاني رتن صباح الخير جننني رتن صباح الخير وجننني حبا يبي حبك على عيوني حبا يبي حبك على عيوني. ما أحب غيرك لو يقاطعني ما أحب غيرك لو يقاطعني يا والدة صلي لنا وصومي يا والدة صلي لنا وصومي وادعي لنا بالفجر عند قومي وادعي لنا بالفجر عند قومي.
That's it.
Oh, wonderful. That's a treat. And that was sung in Yemeni Judeo-Arabic, right?
That's right.
And it's a song for the brokenhearted. It's a very sad song, isn't it? It's sort of
Why is it still playing? Sorry, just a sec.
We can't hear it. We can't hear it.
I can hear it. Just a sec.
Oh, okay.
Very nice Tracy Chapman song, but not
Janis Joplin.
There you go.
So I mean, there is a tradition of women singing in Arab countries, but it's mainly sort of joyful songs, isn't it? It's at a birth or at a henna or at a marriage.
Yeah, so those songs like are actually there is a bit of a difference. The formal songs, the songs that are for henna and for marriage, they tend to be more fixed, the ceremonial kind. However, I wouldn't say that they're always as joyous because a lot of this, like when you think about songs like Yuma Wayaba, it's a famous Yemeni song. It's like it says, mother and father, why did you sell me? Sell the ship and the cattle instead. These are not happy songs.
Yeah.
These are, their lives were hard, they were married often young, sometimes as as young girls. It wasn't their choice. So like there's lots of tears in that, sadness to leave their family home. They're not ready to leave their families. They don't want to leave their parents. So yeah, like you do have some that are more joyous, but some of them, even the celebratory ones, are not actually very happy. But the other songs, the not the ceremonial ones, are very dynamic. They would change every time they are sung, basically. They're very kind of like whoever performed it at the moment would change it. They were never written. So it's a very different kind of way of thinking about like um, just like who's authoring a song, it's not like we do in the West. It's different. Very collaborative, very
Right.
dynamic.
But did
Yeah.
they actually take existing melodies, existing tunes, and just change the words, put their own lyrics to them?
Sometimes,
Right.
yeah. Sometimes you would just the same song would have same melody would have different lyrics. You know, sometimes it would just be like a little minor change, yeah, everything goes, basically.
And
Everything goes.
how would you go about preserving these songs if they're not written down?
So yeah, that was
Yeah,
a challenge, and it wasn't just that. It was also that it didn't matter for people to preserve,
yeah,
because as sadly, women's traditions were often looked down upon. So the men's songs were considered very important. It was poetry, right? But the women's songs are just like, whatever, just like nonsense songs. And even like I talk in the book, I talk about this book, which is, you can see how much I admired it. It's a
yeah.
book called Ahavat Man, Yemeni love,
Love.
love of Yemen. And it's about the women's songs. And what this man did, his name was Nissim Binyamin Gamlieli. He collected them from his mother, from his wife, from women that he knew, and he started writing them down and translating them. Now,
Yeah,
whenever you do that, you have to understand you are kind of compromising a little bit,
yeah,
because the quality of it is it's an oral tradition. But thanks to him, we have like this really beautiful resource. And there has been some field recordings as well. You can find some of them in like the National Library in Israel and so on.
right.
So
Yeah,
I'm sure some has been lost,
yeah,
but fortunately there have been few people that were dedicated to preserving it. And he himself says the same thing, that people told him, why are you doing this?
yeah,
Who cares about this? This is nonsense. Like he himself speaks of that kind of how belittled that tradition was. And
right.
this is something I also speak about in the book as well, right? Zohara is as reflecting
Right.
um, on
Yes.
that kind of disparity between how we treat the men's poetry and the women's songs.
Right. But do you find there's much more interest in, women's women singing, women's culture? Do you think the younger generation, your generation, are they
Yeah,
interested?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And there's people, women like the band AWA, that
Yeah.
started, performing Yemeni songs, the women's
Yes.
songs, and
Yeah.
giving kind of their own twist, and the more modern twist.
Right.
Um, and others as well. There's actually quite a renaissance, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and
Fascinating. Yeah.
yeah, an appreciation for the tradition.
Right.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's not as if Yemeni popular culture hasn't entered the mainstream because, Yemeni singers have made their mark on Israeli pop music, for instance. I mean, Shoshana Damari and Zohar Argov and Ofra Haza, the great Ofra Haza,
Yeah.
Zion Golan. One could go on, and this is
Yeah.
not typical of all communities. Especially those from Arab countries have not had the same impact. Uh, on,
Um,
Would you agree with that?
Okay, so it's like this. First of all, what we're seeing now is not what it used to be. Even
Yeah.
for Gaza, and I am in the know. I'm very close to the family. My closest friend is her niece. Offer Gaza did not get the love and appreciation that she deserved
Yeah.
from, I'm not talking about the Yemeni community. I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking from, radio. I'm talking from, like the establishment did not embrace her. That is just like, it's really important to note that she first had success with her Yemeni songs overseas.
Right.
She had success in the UK before Israel was like, oh, okay, maybe we should pay attention. So let's have an order here. So that's really important to tell. Now, other musicians like Zohar Gov had no appreciation until he passed away, and he's like, again, years after he died. Zion Golan, I would say most people in Israel he's not like, he's beloved by the Yemeni community, but he is absolutely not the kind of guy you'd hear on the radio.
Right.
Now, you do have Mizrahi music nowadays, not the way I was when I was younger, or in Zohara's time in the book. It was not played on the radio. Now it is played on the radio, which is great. But I mean, like I want a prime minister. You know what I mean? Like, I want academics, so I'm happy to see that the music is finally getting what it deserves. But this is just, I want more Israel Prize for literature.
For literature. Well, maybe
you know what I mean? Like,
Etty suggests Boaz Sharabi, of course.
Yeah, but Boaz Sharabi also, like, I would say he's beloved, but doesn't sing a lot of very traditional Yemeni music.
Yeah.
He sings, he's a beautiful singer. I love him, but it's more of just like, popular music.
Right. And actually, yes, thank you for putting up your website there, if anyone's interested. And of course, the songs, there are links to the songs there on your website.
You might have to dig a little bit, but it's there.
Okay, that's great. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, or
would like to speak directly, darling.
Who does?
Ada, I will
Ada wants to speak directly. I just have
I've asked her on mute.
Okay. So here's your number one fan, Ada.
Please you.
I feel like we've met before, haven't we?
We've met twice before. You came to our Zoom book club in COVID, the Israeli embassy in Dublin. We did a little book club called Reading in Ireland.
I remember.
And then I introduced you to Lyn, and that's how you're here. No, I was so excited when I knew Lyn was bringing you again. I really was.
I remember. I remember.
Without you, we wouldn't have been introduced.
No, it's fantastic. No, and I remember your memoir, like The Art of Leaving. There was so much I identified with, and now this novel, I can't wait to read it. When you just read that first excerpt, I was like, oh, I kind of know what that feels like. And the other thing is the book club we did have with the embassy. 3 of us carried on a book club with another lady. And the other lady, she needs audio. Do you know if this is coming out in audio? It is?
It is an audio. Oh, absolutely. And
you will read it.
I'm Zohara in the book.
Yeah.
And I'm reading Zohara's part.
Oh, fantastic, Ayelet. So we can do it. Oh, and that's made us that's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, really, it's so good to see you again. Thank you.
Really good to see you. Really good. I totally remembered you and your name too. Yeah. I was like,
no, I did contact you privately at the time because I just thought you were amazing. Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. It's really nice to see you again.
So apparently you're definitely available in South Africa because Maxine Boyd
Really?
has read your books and she's loved them, and she's writing from Cape Town.
Oh, yay. That's amazing.
And
That's
your
really
book
nice.
is in the Gitlin Library, if
That's
anyone,
awesome.
yeah. So there you go. So the question is this book ever going to appear in Hebrew? Presumably it's not in Hebrew yet.
Yeah, I'm actually working on it. For some strange reason, I decided to take it on myself this time. And this is what I'm doing these days. I'm working on that.
Yeah,
And I find it extremely difficult
yeah.
to do
Do
the
you
translation. It's not really a translation. It's more like I would call it even, I don't know, it's like rewriting it really.
rewrite?
Um,
Yeah. Well, good translation is always rewriting in a way.
that's true too.
Yeah,
That's true too.
yeah.
But
But does,
imagine now that I
yeah,
have that kind of freedom. I can do
yeah,
whatever I want with my
right.
book.
Yeah,
Um,
of course, yeah. But does this mean that you find it easier to express yourself in
I
English?
don't know. I'm really well, it's been written in English. It's not that I necessarily find myself, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
already did the thing and it did it in a certain language. And now it's like having to find words
yeah,
to describe all of it again in a new language. It's very challenging, more than I expected.
yes, yes. But
So I hope, wish me luck. Wish me luck.
we wish you luck with it. Yeah, but obviously it's very necessary to bring your voice to a Hebrew speaking readership. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it is. And I really wanted it to be me. Because my
Mm,
first book came out in Hebrew, but someone else translated it, and then I was just kind of, editing it and changing it. But this time, I don't know,
mm.
I wanted it to be me. Time will tell if I made the right choice.
I'm sure you have. You have.
Uh,
So, are there any other questions? I think we've had compliments,
oh,
which is always good. So if no one else wants to ask a question, I
Just
think.
give it a minute if they want to select
Okay,
something now.
okay, yeah. Just wait 1 second.
If you want to ask a
sure,
question,
yeah.
use the
Yeah, but
electronic.
actually, what you say about a Yemenite prime minister or Yemeni prime minister, I mean, really a Jew from an Arab country, this is something we would all look forward to.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
sort of,
exactly.
um, that they're still underrepresented in the higher reaches of government and in academia, as you say.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
that is hopefully will happen in the next few years.
Oh,
We hope.
Yeah, yeah,
anyone speaking here.
Okay. Ada, do you want to have the last word?
yeah.
No, I just wanted to add your information about Shoshana Damari really surprised me. I mean, Kalaniot is one of my favorite songs. I was like, wow. I mean, it surprised me, but it didn't surprise me, kind of thing. No, I mean, like, that was news to me that she was more famous abroad before
Oh, that
she
was
even.
opera.
Oh,
Opera.
that was Ofa Chaza. That
Yeah.
was
Oh,
Ofa Chaza
oh, it
what
wasn't
we're
Shoshana
talking about.
Damari.
No,
Oh, I see.
I
Okay.
don't
No,
think Shoshana
no.
Damari is that well known outside Israel, really, is it?
Right, that's what I
Not
thought. Okay.
Yeah.
not that much. She did have some success. There's a beautiful, beautiful movie about her. It's kind of heartbreaking. It's called Queen Shoshana. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've heard of it.
And
It's
she's
a
in it.
documentary. It's a documentary about her
Oh,
life.
She
oh,
also
wow.
did she also have a sad life?
Oh, it was heartbreaking, to be honest.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, I look
Oh
out for
dear.
that.
What is it with
Yeah,
these Yemenite singers that they they all
yeah,
seem.
it was heartbreaking. It really stayed with me, that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Wow.
She was quite a character.
yeah,
Um, if you love her, you have to watch it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I will do. Thank you.
They all had the most
And
amazing voices. Yeah.
I dropped in the chat, I put the link to the New York Times essay
Okay. Oh, that's wonderful.
and
Thank
to
you.
the book club kit,
Right. So the Random
which
House
has,
is the
yeah,
is
it has
book
a
club.
couple recipes and it has a playlist in it.
Okay, right. We'll try and preserve that for posterity.
Yeah.
The New York Times essay, is it freely available or you have to subscribe?
No, I think you need to be a subscriber, and
Oh,
I had a gift. Um,
yeah, yeah. Oh dear.
I can look for it. I have a gift recipe, a gift
Don't worry.
article.
Yeah, we don't want to sort of bankrupt the New York Times.
I think they'll be fine. Hey, don't. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if
Okay.
I'll find at this point,
Don't
but
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Anyway, so I think oh, your cat. Lovely.
Yeah, one of
Is he
them.
a Yemeni? Is he a Yemeni cat?
Yeah, of course.
Or is he Siamese? Anyway, so just to wrap up now, the book is called Songs for the Brokenhearted. I highly recommended it. It's a brilliant read. Any more novels or books in the pipeline, Ayelet? Do you have any ideas?
I'm working now on a collection of essays that I've written
Yeah,
in the past few
right.
years and some new ones for now. And yes, I am working on another novel, but it's very
Okay.
early stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Another one in English. Do you think it'll
Yeah,
be?
yeah, I write in
Yeah.
English. This is
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. Okay, that's lovely. Well, I'd just like to thank you so much, Ayelet. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you
Um,
so much for your questions and for everyone.
Yeah, no, thank you everybody for joining us. Please do hang on with us because we'll stop the recording. But if anyone wants to talk off record, they'll be welcome to.
How about the advert stuff?
Yeah, first of all, we have our commercial break, which advertises future events. So coming up. Yes, that's tonight. This is our next event, which is actually also about singing, or it's about the Algerian music hall from one extreme to another. That's in August. Then we have a complete change of subject, the anti-Semitic roots of Arab nationalism, with John Strawson.
That's it.
And that's it for the moment. So if anyone wants to say something or thank Ayelet, you're welcome to. You're all unmuted now.
No, they're not.
Oh, well, most of you.
No, I'm about to do the unmuting.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stop recording.